Hello, everybody. Welcome to Art and Outdoor Life here with John. So here I'm using watercolor paper, 140 pound. I'm using cerulean blue for the sky. This painting is kind of personal to me. I did this alla prima, one take, fast and loose, and I'm using a large hake brush, a small hake brush, fan brush, a round brush, and a rigger brush, liner brush. Okay, so here I've outlined the sky, and I'm using an olive green. I have lemon yellow and yellow ochre on the paper, on the my palette. I also have Prussian blue. I have a burnt sienna, and I have a burnt umber. I do have cobalt blue, which I mixed with a red. I also mixed it with some burnt sienna in this painting to create my purples. And I do have white. Now, I'm using a card, and I hope that you get a good enjoyment out of this. I'm also using yellow, an orange yellow. It's an orange, so you can use you can mix your colors with mix them with basically a red and a yellow to get your orange. So I was thinking about this, okay? All my life, okay, since I was a little kid, I was born and raised in Chicago. So whenever my parents had the chance, we would go out camping. And that would be, northwest Indiana. Sometimes it would be up into northern Illinois, sometimes the southwest suburbs of Illinois outside of Chicago. Sometimes it would be in the middle of Wisconsin, in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. And other times it would be coming down by my grandfather's house, fairly close to where I live. And my parents, what they used to do is, I was very young, and I would go with my uncles and my aunts, and a lot of, they were always get-togethers, right? But coming from the big city, these were treats. I had a lot of memories of me, going to Navy Pier and fishing. Back in the day when you can actually do that. And but when you're born in the city, born and raised in the city, you don't see these kind of things, even in Cub Scouts. I was in Cub Scouts, and just going out a few miles to Cantigny Park or somewhere like that, it's always amazing. Anyways, I'm mixing up colors here, okay? And now I'm using a card. And I suggest that when you use a card, or when you follow along with any painting, make sure that you do view the painting all the way through if you want to try to capture that kind of painting, like for this one here. Um, like, this is real time, okay? And so I'm going very quickly. Like I said, I did this a la prima one video. Now, I did use white in the video, but as you see, you don't have to use white as long as your paint is fairly wet. You can use your card. I used the card for a variety of reasons, or whatever tool that you have. It don't have to be a card. It could be a plastic palette knife or something similar. Anyways, the memories of going camping and fishing are so embedded in my mind, you know. And I'm using violet right here just to kind of outline part of the shore here. You could see it's wet because it's actually moving the water. You know, I was thinking about my son, John, who's an awesome fisherman, and he's a wonderful, wonderful man, you know. I was thinking about my brothers and my sisters. I was thinking about all of my family members. And I was thinking about all of the times that I've been camping in my life. And, you know, when you're young, if you're born and raised in the city, you know, it can be scary coming out to the country, you know, depending on how you know, it's presented to you. So I'm just tapping some yellow, lemon yellow over this blue here. But it could be scary, you know. But it's always an adventure, and you always create great memories out of it. I remember my grandma going camping with us a few times. You know, like I said, now this scene here, I was just thinking, and I'm using olive green, and I also have a more bright green off to the side. But I was thinking about, like, when I was a kid, you know, back in the day, they didn't have these nice little lightweight tents or nothing like that, right? Back in the day, you know, they had these big canvases. I mean, these huge, and they were thick, you know. And yeah. Anyways, so what I'm doing here is, okay, I'm barely touching it. I'm swooping across. Now, what I am doing is, here's the white. Now, you don't have to use white, but I like to use white now and then. You can overdo it with any color, but that's your own preference. Remember that. It's your own preference. So here, with the white, I'm trying to keep the darks in. At the same time, I want to expand this river. I'm thinking about the Merrimack River here from when I was a little kid. So I put a little bit of burnt sienna there, and I mixed it with a little bit of yellow ochre. And now I'm taking the card and I'm scraping in rocks. You know, um, usually when when I start scraping, I like to do everything at once. Like, okay, it's like my moment of scraping. When I grab the card, I look at it and I'm like, okay, what do I want to scrape? And then what I do is, then I'll put the card down and then I'll continue to paint. Um, Mainly because the paint is wet is when I can scrape. And you could see the burnt umber, has a reddish tint to it. Even though it's brown, it has a reddish tint. So using this card sideways, you get some very nice effects, almost ripple effects. Okay. Um, that orange color off to the left is the tint because I wanted to make it a little different, kind of stick out. So I'm pushing a little bit of that orange. It's like a reddish orange, not a gamboge. And I'm just kind of sticking it here and there. And I want to outline it. And I'm using olive green with a fan brush. And we are going on Thanksgiving, so yeah, it's a turkey tail brush. I've been calling that since when I first started painting. Turkey tail brush. It's a fan brush. And anyways, so I come back over with a little bit of white, and now it's blending. I got white, and it's blending with some of the violet, and you see how easy just a very little touch of white can, you could overdo it very easily. This is supposed to be a river, right? Not a creek, not a raging river, not a whitewater river. In fact, I was thinking about painting, before I came in here and did this, I was thinking about the times I spent in Buena Vista, Colorado, right there on the white water, an Arkansas River. And that is an amazing place. If you've never been to Buena Vista, Colorado, you need to check it out. It's a beautiful place, very friendly. So anyways, I laid down some Prussian blue there, kind of like I wanted to create like a little dam, something like that. And here I am, I'm whiting this river out, and I'm going back and forth. My channel is called Art and Outdoor Life. And the outdoor part is about getting outdoors, nature. And I know there's a lot of people who take outdoors for granted, or they're afraid of things. They're afraid of, bugs and this and that, or they ain't got the money to go anywhere, And then there's a lot of people who live in outdoors like I do now. I've been living outdoors for years. And you can take it for granted. So I'm adding some violet here. You can take it for granted. It's not hard to do. So over this blue, I like doing these tints. So what they're called, it's called tinting. Some people call them highlighting. It's called tinting. Where you tint Put some lemon yellow over some of this foliage here. Now there's the fire, right? Okay, so I put some red in there, like I made the tent. And I put a little bit of yellow in there. And I want to say, take your time when you're doing these. Okay, this painting here took me 30 minutes to do, and I didn't want to push 30 minutes in a video. Take your time when you and let your paint dry. I didn't let my paint dry. Now take a card and I make a scrape, part of the bonfire there. And scraped up some rocks. I'm just having fun. That's what it's about. And using my imagination for memories. I want to wish you a good day, a good morning, a good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Please like and subscribe. So I'm using the card here to create like a hill coming down.